Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Married at First Sight. Season 14 episode, I don't know what episode. Can we please get to decision day? Y'all getting on my nerves. When I tell y'all it was so hard for me to make it through this episode, y'all, I was like, what is happening? See, Lifetime, let me explain something to you before we get into it as we get into it. Stop taking these breaks, honey. Keep the train going because we barely on the train, honey. And every time it stops, I hop the hell off. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. And if you're back for a second or third time or whatever episode this is, y'all please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. You don't want to have to search Married at First Sight every time. Child, choose me. It's decision day. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. 24 days until decision day. Jasmina and Michael get a visit from Katina. She said she went down there to talk to Jasmina because Jasmina is her person. And she feels like Jasmina is going to offer her comfort. Baby, Jasmina cannot offer you anything but something to drink. Honey, she can't even figure out her own marriage. She just lying and smiling and sometimes she frowning. But let's hear what you have to say. So she's like, I know Jasmina's going to listen. So she's telling them about the app that Elijah found. And Katina was like, it was a login page because I don't do dating apps. Y'all. She came down there looking so sad and disheveled. Katina, baby, if this is 30 days in, can you imagine 300 days in, 30 months in, 30 years in? Baby, that wig gonna be thinned out then. Girl, if you don't leave this man alone, honey, I ain't got time for this. So she's telling them that she didn't like his tone when he was talking to her. And, he was basically saying it's not about her feelings. It's about the way that he found it. It was disrespectful. And so Michael was like, well, how did it end? She said, well, he told me that he needed a minute, probably to get that god-awful neck tattoo that he got, y'all, because it was a whole fool. No matter what she says, it's not going to change his mind. It's just not. So Michael is saying, in the moment that your emotions take over everything, then everything that you say to him is going to sound like an excuse. So then Jasmina was like, well, he says everything that he wants to say, any and everything when he gets mad. That's the problem. This is a problem for you to go to them for some sound advice, which I don't know why you went to them for sound advice, but it's really nobody you can go to besides Steve, honey. He probably sleep. But anyway, for you to go to them and for them to say, well, he says whatever he wants to say. No, that's people's excuse to act a fool. You don't get to say whatever you want to say to me. No. So Katina was like, he said that I wasn't serious. That's the thing. And it was his tone. It was the way that he was saying things. So for him to use that one thing against me, it just really hurt my feelings. So then she starts crying, all while Jasmina's just sitting there looking at her. I said, oh, okay. So it's not just Michael. Jasmina is just an ice fish. Honey, I'm going to start calling her JJ Ice Fish. Honey, she doesn't care who it is she's looking at and or talking to. Honey, you get nothing. Baby, Jasmina ain't going to comfort you. She ain't going to touch you. She ain't going to hug you. So this a whole fool. Moving forward. So Katina is clearly and visibly distraught. And she's like, it's just the way that he's speaking to me. I don't want him to use this against me. She's crying. They're just looking. Katina, I know what it's like to be in a place where you want something to work so bad. I understand it, but you don't know this man, honey. He's a whole stranger. Look at all of your encounters. The honeymoon on the horse, the way he spoke to you at the dinner, him asking to see your phone rather aggressively, might I add, not allowing you to explain yourself, your reasonings, and your feelings. Like, no. She's like, I'm a real person. Yes, you are a real person. So Jasmina's like, well, she doesn't really cry a lot. So just seeing her cry in front of me, it's just not, it's not sitting well with me. Girl, goodbye. Moving forward. In the next scene, Michael goes to visit Elijah and he's like, well, do you want to talk to her about it? He was like, no, I'm not bringing it up to her. Like, I want her to sit in it and think about what she's done. Isaac, who the hell are you to try to make somebody sit in their feelings? Who are you? He's like, until she admits it 100%, it's just excuses at this point. I mean, I deleted my Instagram. I changed my hair. No, sir, you deleted that Instagram so that them women wouldn't pop up while you were still over here married to Katina, and you ain't fooling me. And baby, deleting Instagram means absolutely nothing. Everything is still intact. The minute you put it back, all DMs and everything else comes flooding right on back. That's an F-boy move if I ever did see one. Child, please. You changed your hair for her. You needed to change it. It was ugly. And you said that you deleted your Instagram. Okay, so what? Your minimal effort as it is, it doesn't negate what she's done for you. The girl is trying to turn into Susie Homemaker. Can't even comb her wig good. Boy, goodbye. So Michael is like, well, do you believe her? Elijah said, no, I mean, she's smart. I mean, is she? And she's still hanging on with you. So that's debatable. He was like, I just don't understand how she could do that. Like, it's very easy to log on and then log off. I know. I did it. I used to do that. Like, I've known her for 30 days. So this is what this is. So you're projecting your cheating ways onto her. Didn't I tell y'all last review? I said the reason why he's acting a fool in here right now is because he knows what he used to do. Or probably still is, child. Because, when they go extra hard, that means that they're still doing it. But then they come down on you because it's like, what? I thought you were supposed to be the good one. Like, you're the angel and I'm the devil. So now that you're looking a little devilish, like, we can't be two devils in here, honey. One of us got to be good. I feel like he's projecting all that cheaterization he used to do onto Katina. Boy, if you don't go. So Michael said, so you don't trust her? He said, I look at her differently. Shut up. Shut it up. You don't like Katina as a spouse. Period. Point blank. I don't want to hear anything else about it. You don't like her. Everything that you're saying, those are excuses. You don't like her. Moving forward. In his confessional, he's like, I've never given my heart out and put my trust into somebody. Well, you say words like gaven, so, she shouldn't trust you. He was like, the app seems like it's 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And again, you say words like gaven. Noy and Steve. Child, so it's noon, right? Or whatever time it is, Steve doesn't know. So Noy opens the door and she has like a little cam on him and she's like, are you asleep? Him and Sushi taking themselves a good old day now. Okay. And she's like, well, do you know what time it is? Well, Sleeping Beauty is like, no, I don't. So she said, yeah, that's because you just woke up. These people are lazy. She was like, it must be nice. I wouldn't know because I've been working. Ooh, baby, the shade of it all. All right, now, Steve, you better get up and get to moving around, honey. Let me tell you something. I saw a TikTok that said, if you want to pretend like you working hard at work, just get to walking real fast. Steve, get to walking real fast around the apartment, bro. No matter if you're doing something or not. You better leave every day and stay at the beach, honey, and then come back like you've been working 9 to 5. Shout out to Dolly Parton. Baby, you're going to have to get something done some kind of way. Because Noy, child, I called her Noy. Well, it was a Freudian slip, but it was the truth. Noy is getting on my nerves. She's getting on my nervous system. You're getting on my nervous system. You won't tell her what it is you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Show her that Chase transaction slip when you go to the bank. And Noy, shut up. For the love of God. Lindsey and Mark. So we see Lindsey, Mark, and her cat is tucked in next to Mark. Lindsey, get that feline out of that bed. Get it out. And then you tucked her in. Try to make it cute. I thought I was the queen of the home. It's disgusting. Get that cat out of that bed. And Mike is over there eating Scooby snacks. I'm like, why, Michael, why are you eating dog treats? What is happening? Those are for the dog, sir. She ain't gonna never kiss you eating the dog food. Ooh, child. Lindsey and Mark. So they're using this whiteboard to get some structure and whatnot. He hopes that it balances things out between the two of them. I hear you, Mark, but all I can focus on is the cats all over that counter. That is so nasty. This is exactly why I don't do potlucks. This is exactly why. If it didn't come from the store in a closed, see, I don't even want you opening it, okay? Because it just sit it down on the table. Did it go to your house before you, or did you get it on the way to work? Okay, if you got it on the way to work, I'll take it. If not, I don't want it because these cats are tap dancing all over this countertop. And it's just so gross. Child, is just a side note. So they start discussing meal prepping. And so she asked him if he'll eat broccoli or carrots. And he's like, with what? She's like, with anything. Like, just eat it. Mark has the palate of my 6-year-old. It's really odd. So then they discuss what they both want. And I thought this scene was good. I thought that was a really positive step for them. And they got through it by compromising and communicating. Okay, because these two will start an argument if they don't do nothing else. So good job for now. 23 days until decision day. Steve and Noy. So they go to get the dog washed. And she's like, we've never talked about how it's going to be when we have kids. And, I want him to get used to having a pet. Girl, what? She said, it's a way to see if they're really ready to have kids. Two very different things, Noy. Nothing but having kids can prepare you for having kids. I don't care what kind of simulation doll they give you that pees and poops and cries. It's not the same. I don't care if you put Sushi in a pamper. It's not the same. Until you have children, This is not going to prepare him for having children. And quiet as it's kept, you need a class or two yourself. It's more than changing diapers, and his mature nature would be a better fit for parenting if you're asking me. I'm just saying, child. So they're dressing the dog, right? While Noy pretends it's their child. I'm like, okay, child. I skipped on past this scene. Lindsey and Mark. So they're going grocery shopping, and as soon as she gets in the store, she's like, I want watermelon. I'm not a big fan of melon. What about squash? Nope. What about honeydew? Nope. What about grapes? Nope. Mark, what the hell do you eat besides goldfish? Mark may have gotten the right match. Okay, now y'all hear me out. Just hear me out. Mark, sometimes I think we're overlooking it because Lindsey is so much. Mark is annoying as well. Okay, you don't eat nothing. Okay, you can't pipe up and speak your speech. You're timid as all get out. It's giving the Sahara Desert down below if you can't get yourself together. Like, I feel like he may have gotten the right match because he seems to still be adjusting to adulthood, and Lindsey seems to want to take care of someone. So if you want to parent somebody, then Mark is your man. So he tells her, he's like, our budget is $150. And I see her grabbing every vegetable and fruit in sight. Mark, vegetables are important. How you working at a gym selling memberships and you don't eat fruits and vegetables? Child, that's like a car salesman selling me a car and ain't never driven. Talking about, would you like to take it for a test drive? I'll walk beside you. No, buddy, I need you to get in the car. Child, this is a mess. Oh, this season, honey. Oh, child, please. Oh, Jesus, be decision day. He's like, well, you know, I'm not working, so every dollar counts. Well, Mark, that's your own problem, honey. He's like, she needs to stick to the budget. Sweetheart, for $150, y'all gonna be leaving with just that loaf of bread that Katina took to Elijah. Groceries are expensive. A pack of chicken wings at the store costs $30. So, I mean, $150, what y'all gonna buy? You gotta eat vegetables, Mark. You wanna buy canned goods and dino nuggets, and you're not fooling me. This woman took a bite of this corn. Okay, y'all. They're going through the grocery store. And she picks up this corn and takes a bite out of crime. Lindsey, that is disgusting. People's hands have probably touched all over that corn, and you know they touched it if it was in the front, and God forbid it falls on the floor. Side note, I went to a grocery store one time, and all the avocados and the lemons and just some produce just started rolling on down the aisle. They scooped that stuff right on back up, put it back on the shelf, and let that little sprinkler of mist, you know, that water that comes down over the fresh produce, allowed it to just sprinkle on down. Honey, you don't know what you're getting. And now Lindsey biting stuff and then go, oh, child, this is just a whole food. So she's asking him what he wants, and he was like, no, I don't like this, I don't like that. She's like, what about bacon? He's like, oh, I'll do bacon. Okay, that would annoy me. Moving forward, Jasmina and Michael. So they're talking about her day, and she's talking about her job moving, and Michael is like, well, you know, it'll probably be good for you to drive and not take the train. And she was like, oh, no, for you to drive me? He's like, no, for you to drive yourself. She's like, how am I gonna do that? So then he tells us that she doesn't know how to drive. So you got an attitude with this man, and he been driving Miss Mina? Girl, if you don't sit down. He said, look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna study for the permit test so you can drive yourself and not need me as much. Child, I'm surprised she actually did it. So Michael starts asking these test questions, and they're laughing. I'm surprised she actually wanted to go over the questions because y'all know how Jasmina is. She said it's not the test that, you know, is like alarming. It's the actual driving. But she said she did appreciate her roommate. I'm sorry, Michael. Child, she appreciated him going over the questions. Katina and Elijah. Baby, listen here. So they're in this confessional, looking face down at us. And she tells us that they took some time. She said, you know, we talked and I understood where he was coming from. Okay, what about him understanding where you're coming from? What about that part? And baby, she was so stressed about losing that bozo, she got her headscarf on, and y'all know Katina ain't seen without that wig. Baby, she done laid that wig to rest. She done took her wig off. She's like, you know, I told him I was sorry, but I'm going to say it again now. I'm sorry. Girl, you don't have to say it no more. You didn't even have to say it then. Okay, you didn't do anything wrong. He said, you know, I just got to learn how to control my emotion. Elijah, please. Okay, this is an old vicious abusive cycle where you do something, you get the other person to apologize. Now that you've regained control, you lie and make false promises until the cycle starts all over again. I don't want to hear it. He's like, you know, I appreciate you. Sir, I'm not buying it. Okay, change your behavior and save the speeches. 21 days until decision day. Steve and Mark go throw the ball around the beach. Okay, because they ain't doing nothing else. So they start talking about their marriages. Same thing, different episode. And Mark said, she started talking about the future. And he's like, whoa, easy there, killer. I'm not there yet. And he starts talking about his job loss. And then it was Steve's turn. So he says that he saved up a bunch of money. How much, sir? Because once the savings deplete, then what's going to go on? Just let me know, Steve. Honey, I'm not Noy. Fall off in my DM and tell me. Therefore, and thus and such, I can stop saying this through my reviews. If you tell me, Steve, I ain't going to tell nobody. I'm not going to tell nobody. He said, but for whatever reason, she doesn't have faith in me. Steve, for whatever reason, it's because you've never told her anything concrete. He said, if she doesn't believe in me, then I don't know what else to do. Get a job. Not listen. And I think people are starting to get confused when people say he needs to work. He needs to get a job. It doesn't have to be a traditional 9-to-5 job. It can be what you enjoy. But she's not seeing you do anything but take naps, honey, and get your beauty rest. Get yourself together, Steve. He said, I cook, I clean, and I don't smell like onion rings. So I'm not understanding why she's upset. And I wonder if the only way to make her happy will be to get a job. Yes, absolutely. Precisely. W-2 her now. Honey, that's exactly what she wants, child, for you to have a job W-2. Johnny, tell him what he's won. Because obviously you figured it out. Now go home, have a conversation with her, and let her know the things that you're telling Mark. She just wants to see you moving and shaking. And take my tip now, Steve, honey. Now, you might be sitting on some money. That's what the people are saying, honey. I don't know. Because I'm not just going to give Steve $1 million because his name is Steve. But what I will say is take my advice from over on the TikTok and walk real fast through the apartment all times a day and take a nap when she gets off. Moving forward. So Mark is like, well, I would be upset if you got a job and she wants more. Mark, hush. And go to food therapy to figure out why you only eat carbs and goldfish. So Steve was like, well, if I work, then I can't dream of our future. Steve, cut the crap. Okay, cut the crap. First, you can't cook and clean right if you get a job. Now you can't work because you won't be able to daydream about your future. Stop it, Steve. Just stop it, honey. Well, these two bonded over the unemployment of it all, so I guess it's the bro movement. Oh, Jasmina and Michael. He's taking her out to teach her how to drive and teach her the basics. Baby, he's a brave man. So on their way there, he's like, you're too smiley for me. Like, you're throwing me off. Honey, me too. I'm used to the RBF because I was looking at her like, girl, what you laughing at? Child, and drove us off a cliff on purpose, child. So she got into the driver's seat when they got there, and he's being really patient and speaking in a very calm tone so that he doesn't, startle her, get her overwhelmed. And she's driving. But baby, this is giving crash test dummy. That's what it's giving me. I couldn't do it. That's why I'm sending my son straight to driving school. Child, I'm not about to be teaching nobody how to drive. She said, I can just see that more affection is coming if we just keep it up. Jasmina, you're acting like Elijah one, honey. Ain't nothing but a bunch of fluff. I don't buy nothing you selling. 20 days until decision day. Steve and Noy. So they're taking the dog for a walk, and Steve actually picked up poop. I said, oh, okay. Now, mind you, Noy is giving directives. She ain't doing nothing. This was Noy took a turn for me during this episode, and she started to get on my damn nerves. So they're out. They're having a walk. They get back to the apartment. They go back inside. Nobody washed their hands. Straight into the kitchen. I'm like, okay, this is giving gross. And he said, I just feel like I'm fitting in well with sushi, but I want some appreciation because Noy is expecting me to do this. Like, you brought this dog into this relationship, not me. And it just seems like she's expecting me to do everything. So when they get inside, she's like, well, can you make the eggs and the potatoes? Because it just takes a minute for the waffles. Noy, let go of my ego, honey. Pushing them waffles down in that toaster does not equal cooking. You want the man to pick up the poop, come back inside, and make a full-on breakfast? Girl, goodbye. What you gonna do besides bark orders? So he was like, the same way that she wants me to contribute, I'm wondering if she's gonna contribute as well. Exactly. So then they start talking about the chores as they're eating their Eggos and whatnot. And Noy is delegating authority once again. And so Steve was like, well, maybe we should split up the responsibility. She's like, no, you can do it all. And he's like, huh? She said, no, you can do it all while I'm working. He's like, well, what's wrong with, us splitting the chores? He said, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do that. That's the wrong move. She said, oh, well, you can kiss my ass. She said it with a smile, but I knew she was serious. And she's upset because he talks about what she's not doing and not what he's not doing. Well, according to him, he's paying for over half of everything that's happening up and through. But y'all have to remember, This is the shared apartment. They ain't paying for nothing. Are you paying for her apartment back where she lives outside of decision day? Because I'm a little bit confused, child. This couple right here is confusing me. In the next scene, the couples talk to their friends and family. Olajuwon is talking to his former coach about getting to know Katina and how he got upset about the dating app. Where is Olajuwon's family? That's what I want to know. Where is his biological mom and dad? Who created this? This is what I want to know. You know, because we saw the mom with the jersey, but then that was like a team mom or a second mom. I don't know what's happening, but people are showing up for Olajuwon that don't make no sense. He's like, we did get into it though, but I apologized to her and I felt like she was very genuine. We both apologized. So the coach was like, well, when you're amped up, you say the wrong things, but some things cannot be taken back. And, he's just trying to give him some advice. So the coach said that he's encouraging him to keep speaking up. Baby, you do not have to encourage him to speak up. That's the least of your words. He gonna speak his speech if he don't do nothing else. Trust and believe. Michael meets with his sister Claire. Hey, sis. And Michael said, so how do you think things look to you? She said, well, I feel like y'all played off each other. Y'all were touching a little bit. It's the little things. It's definitely little. Okay. Almost non-existent, but that's just me. So they're talking about it, right? He said, since you've seen us last, I will say that we've made more progress. Meanwhile, Jasmina is speaking with her mom. So she tells her that her and Michael are in a good place right now and there's no more tension. And her mom was like, oh, okay, because I didn't want you to have to go through that. So her mom was excited about that. But then she said, okay, so you know how I am. So what are the pros and cons of being married? She was like, to Michael? No, to the doorman. Yes, girl. What are the pros and cons? Oh my gosh. Can y'all tell I'm annoyed? I'm so annoyed by this season. I really am. She said communication is something that they have that's getting better and they talk when they get home. Back with Michael, he's like, we're finally on the same page. He said it was really like a game before, like who could one up the other person. He said, we're friends now. Yeah, it is giving friend zone. You are definitely friends. Jasmina does not want this marriage. She doesn't want it. I mean, it's as clear as day. But then Jasmina goes over on her side. Also, it's been a month and I don't have feelings for him. Well, why waste his time, Jasmina? I told y'all this is a glorified roommate situation. If you do not have feelings for him by now, then you are never going to have feelings for him. You're just not. Like decision day is like 3 or 4 episodes away. Girl. So he's telling his sister that this is the longest time that he's ever had to wait. And he's waiting for her to say something and kind of basically watching his every move. So his sister suggests that he try something small. She was like, don't go all in, but just try something. Sis, that is bad advice. You don't know Jasmina. The one that you see is not the one that he gets. He better not try nothing with her, honey. She gonna embarrass him. Back with Jasmina, she's like, I'm not closed off to him or anything. Jasmina, what are you talking about? You seem closed to me. Honey, the door is closed. Honey, you seem totally closed off. She said, I told him I'm open for those feelings to come. They're not coming at all. She said, but I feel like if there's no romance or deep feelings by decision day, then I'm going to say no. Ma'am, we have only a few weeks, so it's not happening. Back with Michael, he's like, I just don't want to feel like I'm settling. I want to feel like I'm getting what I'm giving. He said, I really opened up to her. I even told her things about mom. So if I feel like I'm not getting the same thing, like not even a drop of that, then it's not happening on decision day. Well, alrighty then. Lindsey and Mark. She's back with another segment of Bad Mouth Mark. Every single confessional, interview, episode, Lindsey has to tell us how terrible of a human being, of a husband, of a person Mark is. I get so tired of hearing that. So they show them, right? A little clip. She's mad about Mark accidentally putting things into the dryer that are not supposed to go into the dryer. Right? She's like, it's clear you don't care about me. He said, I said I'm sorry. Like, what more do you want me to do? Mark, where are your life skills? You don't eat fruits and vegetables. You don't know what goes in the dryer and what should. Like, I'm just confused at this. So she's pointing out all the things that he's not doing right. And she's like, this is no man of mine. No friend of mine. Because of that load of laundry, Lindsey, you are so dramatic. Lindsey always goes straight to, it's over. He can't do anything for me. He sucks. Lindsey, control yourself, child. In the next scene, Katina goes to see her friend Anna, and she said she needed some words of encouragement. So they're sitting down, right? She's like, well, let me see a picture of him. Did I show you a picture? She's like, no. So she shows her the picture, right? So the friend gonna say, let me see one without the shirt. No, ma'am, honey. Flag on the plate, crossing the boundary, honey. This is my husband, okay? Even though I can't stand him, that's still her husband at the end of the day. So then she asked about relations, and Katina was like, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to go all the way to decision day without having hot, lovely relations, but we haven't done it. Of course you haven't, because he controls everything. And he's not having the hot, lovely relations with you because I don't feel like he wants to choose you on decision day. Or maybe that's just me. But I don't feel like he likes her. I don't feel like he likes her at all. So then they started talking about her having the app on her phone. And she said, what I learned is to be calm. Anna said, oh, okay, well, he has to do the same. I know that's right, Anna. Please tell her. Katina, I will say this about you. You have some pretty level-headed friends around you. You have good people that are supporting you. Please listen, honey. Listen. Katina is making excuses for Elijah once again, okay? And she's like, he's a good man, Savannah. No, he's not. Okay, he's not a good man. But you know what, Katina? I ain't got time for this. If you want to weather the storm, then go right ahead with old bald head Elijah and his full-on neck tattoo. If that's what you want to do, honey. Because we can't rally around you and have prayer visuals and light candles and send up smoke signals and prayers and everything if you're not going to care. So if you're going to continue to just make excuses for Elijah, then so be it. Steve and Noy. So they're talking about decision day, right? And she's like, yeah, I don't want to move in. She wants to leave the shared apartment and for them to get to know each other. I say, well, now. She's like, yeah, like, what's the rush? You're married to him already. What do you mean, what's the rush? She's like, I'm not comfortable combining our lives. Well, then what are you doing here? Steve, take your fortunes and your van and leave Noy to travel to faraway places for love. Honey, because this is so ass backwards. Noy, what are you talking about? You are so childish. Okay, if you want him to trust you enough to open up to you about whatever he has saved or whatever his plan is, how can he do that when you're having a discussion with him and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, and also, yeah, about that, I want to live separate. No. Basically, she's acting like they're at a sleepaway camp. Y'all live together now. What's the difference? She's not comfortable giving up her apartment because Steve doesn't have a job that produces a paycheck, and that's that on that, and y'all ain't fooling me. Noy is so passive aggressive. I don't want to move with you unless you work. You're gonna get a job or we're not moving together. Now, Noy, the message is not lost on me, okay? I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm not one of the people that thinks Steve is sitting on fortunes, okay? I want Steve to move around as well. Okay, I don't get turned on by watching you sleep at noon. Like, if part of it is jealousy, because I want to sleep at noon, child. Try to get rid of the fine lines and wrinkles myself. But at the same time, as my guy, if you're telling me this is what I want to do, I'm going to achieve this way, and you're not doing anything, that makes me feel some kind of way. And you're not communicating to me what you are going to do. So it's just not making no sense. But Noy, you don't want to live with your husband, but you wanted to say I love you after 3 days? Girl, goodbye. 19 days until decision day. Mark goes to meet with his friend Erica, and he tells her, it's been 5 weeks and they have good times, but, Mark, get to the but, okay? Because you're saying all the good stuff, but get to the but. He said part of what's really tripping him up is just adjusting to her way of being, the way she speaks, the way she articulates things, just the way Lindsey is. He said Lindsey tells him to be direct, and then when he gets direct, she tells him that she was yelled at in her childhood by her mom, so he shouldn't be yelling at her. So the friend was like, oh, okay, it seems like the two of you have terrible communication. You and Lindsey need to part ways like the Red Sea, expeditiously. Mark, you need to grow up, and Lindsey, you need to calm down. Moving forward. Noy goes to meet with Sriracha. Hey, girl, come on in and sit down and don't start no mess. Don't get too spicy tonight. So they start talking about the good and the bad, and she's like, we're always laughing. Like, I can be a kid around him, and I really need that. That's the problem right now, Noy. You wanting to be a kid. Okay, if you want to be a Toys R Us kid, then you should have stayed single. You should have been matched with Mark and his preschool palette. That's who you should have been matched with. So she's like, he did say he loved me. So Sriracha gonna say, in a month? My sentiments exactly, but Noy, please tell Sriracha how you were telling him that you loved him after 3 days. You went to sleep in the hotel, woke up, went to sleep one more time, woke up, and you were in love. So please don't leave that out, honey. Child, please don't. She's like, my only concerns are he needs to do more around the house. She said basically, Steve says he cooks and does everything for them, but she only works and that's only for her. And she feels like her working is for them as well. So they're both doing things for them. So she was like, also, he did this hypothetical situation of me doing more housework. Her brother said, oh, okay, well, let's do a hypothetical where he gets a job. Oh, child, I thought that was funny. He's like, what does he say about the job? Noy was like, well, he wanted me to come to him with a plan. She's like, I don't care what he does. I just want him to do something. Exactly what I said. It's not about him having a job where he goes out to work for someone else. Because I keep hearing he's a freelancer. They make $1 million. She's not saying that. What she's saying is show me something. Put one foot in front of the other. But Noy, you're annoying. And he's probably doing it to troll you at this point. Like he knows how much you want him to work. So he's just seeing how long he can get away with not telling you his actual plan. That's what I think he's doing. Steven, you ain't fooling me. She said, I don't want to combine finances because I came out to Boston for a man and I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Well, girl, y'all married now, honey. You came out to Boston to be with a man, but you're married to him. That is your husband. In the next scene, Steve calls his sister-in-law to get some quick advice. So he's telling her how the 1 month has been going great. So then he tells her that Noy may want to stay in her own apartment after decision day. And at first I thought the sister-in-law was going to have a bigger reaction, but she was just kind of sitting there looking. He said he told her he didn't want any more social media posts. And then he sees another subliminal that said, the moment you start to wonder if you deserve better, you do. Wow. Well, Steve, maybe that was your sign to take heed to exactly what you were reading. Because clearly you deserve better than someone that sends childish subliminals on Instagram. Because best believe when this camera goes down and y'all Instagrams open up, we're going to be watching everything that Noy posts. That's going to tell us all we need to know. Whether y'all together, whether sushi is still kicking, whether y'all went to dinner, everything that happens in your relationship, we will be able to find it out via social media. He said, I asked her, was it about me? And she said no. Oh, okay. Who just randomly posts those kinds of things without it being about something or about someone? Child, Noy's full of it. Steve, I'm telling you this right now. Go ahead and pack it up, bruh. You deserve somebody that's able to communicate. Someone that's more mature than Noy is. You are going to be raising her. Okay? She's been coddled. Her family seems like they don't think she can do any wrong. So if I were you, I would just cut my losses as it pertains to Noy. Jasmina and her roommate, Michael. So they're making dinner. She's his sous chef and he's finally cooking for her because Jasmina does all the cooking. Well, child, at least they can cook because Zach and Michaela couldn't boil water. Shout out to season 13. So she said that he's never cooked for her before and she's really happy for that. So they start talking about what they both have realized in the marriage and he's telling her that he wants to do as much as he can to make this marriage work. And she's like, I'm very happy that he's trying to change. I mean, it could be better, but he's trying. Jasmina, what are you doing? You act just like Lindsey. As soon as y'all get in these confessionals, y'all start talking down. Stop it. The guy is trying. Like, Michael is a good guy with flaws, but you aren't physically attracted to him. She likes Michael, I believe, as a person. I think she likes him as a friend. I think she feels like he's cool to hang out with. She can call and talk to him about her guy problems. But Michael does not get her juices flowing. She don't want to lay down with Michael. She don't want to kiss Michael. It's not giving the zhuzh that should be given in the physical department. That's what's going on. Katina and Elijah. They're doing a Taco Tuesday and she says she wants to give him 100%. Child, baby, she's serving him and everything. When I tell y'all she working overtime, I'm still not buying it. So then they start talking about them getting in trouble at school. Elijah is telling this story about how him and his friends snuck out of class and the principal chased them all the way. I ain't never seen no principal start chasing nobody down the highway. First of all, you don't run in the halls. That's number one. Okay, at any school, we don't run it. I'm sure not about to chase you in my hard bottom shoes. Elijah, want to be quiet. Why do all of his stories sound like a 30-minute sitcom? I'm just waiting on a laugh track. It's giving a lie. Okay, so then he starts the cycle all over again. I love our marriage, Katina. I'm happy I met you. Until next time. Lindsey and Mark. So she's arranging for a family photo shoot, dressed as sharks with the cats. Ugh, oh, Lord. She's like, I just want to do something, fun for him. So they're sitting down and they're eating. She's like, try this sauce. He's like, nope. She's like, please? He's like, no, I don't want it. She's like, just dip a fry in it. Lindsey, he does not want it. He doesn't want it. Meanwhile, Mark has a plate of fries and chicken strips. Oh, I can't make this stuff up, y'all, I swear. So he starts to tell her about how things have been between the two of them. And she's like, not once have you said what I can do better. You don't take any responsibility. She's like, I'm at the point of no return. Well, end it then, Lindsey. Please put me and everyone watching out of our misery, please. She said, I want to enjoy the night, but Mark brought up the past, and then they start arguing back and forth and back as usual. She grabs his arm. He's like, don't grab me like that. She said, you know what? I'm done. Lindsey, put down that wine. You are always drunk every time you go from 0 to 100. Then she gets up and leaves. Shocker. Now, mind you, the photog is still on the way. So the photographer shows up. Mark proceeds with the shoot. He's like, it just is what it is at this point. Ugh. Why didn't y'all call this lady and cancel? You should have called this nice lady and said, hey, right now is not the time. We're going to have to reschedule. Baby, please don't bring me into a place where the tension is palpable. I don't like to be in places where I feel uncomfortable. Don't do that. So she comes in, Lindsey that is, and she's like, I don't feel good. I'm not doing it. Goes in and starts packing a bag because she wants Mark to beg her to stay. And child, she's still packing and he ain't paying no attention. So he said, I feel like she probably has valid concerns, but it's her delivery. I've had enough of you, Lindsey. If you want to go, then go. Okay? Mark, you need to grow up. Why did you come on this show? The two of you do this all of the time. So the photographer is outside waiting on these two to stop it. He's like, well, do you want to do the shoot? She's like, no. Do I really want to pretend like I like you? No. He's like, well, I think you should do the shoot. She's like, do I want to do the shoot or do you want me to do the shoot? Mark, this is the opportunity for you to say, I would like for you to do the shoot. It will make Lindsey feel important. That's what she needs. Lindsey just wants to feel wanted. She wants Mark to beg her to stay at the house. She wants Mark to beg her to stay at the shoot. Like, this is giving me a headache. Something that Lindsey is missing, i.e. the love of her mother, is causing her to bring that into her marriage. She's looking for that from Mark. And when he does not give her that, she reacts like a child. That is what's happening. So then they start this shoot. It's awkward AF. This poor lady is like, okay, now just the two of you? While they sit there looking estranged, I'm like, what are y'all going to say? What's going to go on? So the tension is thick and you can cut it with a knife. They're just sitting there. He goes, yeah, sure. She goes, okay, well, get in there. Hug each other. This is so awkward and uncomfortable. And scene. And that was the end of the episode. Can we get to decision day already? Please, please, and thank you. So y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. This episode was a filler. We really did not need it. Right now, I feel like let's just get to the couples trip where y'all spend the night and embarrass each other and, yourselves. And then let's get to decision day so we can see if our predictions are correct. Thank y'all for joining me for this review. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.